Hey, Hamad.
Hey Jim, how are you?
I am Peachy Keen, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well too.
Good.
I got a few more people.
Pat, Krellin, how are you guys?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How you doing?
Peachy Keen.
There you go. You enjoying this nice weather, Mr. Biggs?
Honestly, Pat, I'd rather have it 30 and sunny. I I'm big on sunshine. Temperature is a lot less important to me than sunshine. That's
Goodness.
why, I absolutely, I think London is a beautiful place. I think that Seattle is a beautiful place, but I don't know that I could live there, and not have,
Not
uh,
the sun. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I get, it really drains my energy on
I have,
days like
uh,
today.
I have a funny story about London. So I have my one of my uncle lives there. So I can never go to England without having to tell them and having to live with them and all that stuff that comes with family. So I decided a few years back, it's about 5 years ago, that I wanted to just kind of explore London on my own. Didn't tell anyone I was going. Spent a week there, and by God, it rained pretty much the whole time I was there.
Um,
And, like as soon as it stopped raining, I would run outside to go see some places.
that was your family cursing you.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly,
You
exactly.
told us we're gonna make it rain when you're
I,
here.
so it was a longer trip that I was taking. I went somewhere else. I went to Lebanon for a friend's wedding, and then I came back and said, "Hey, I'm here for a couple of days." I visited them on the way back, so it's not like I ignored them altogether. But I just ever since I've been going to England, like like at least like 30 times plus, because we used to go there every couple of years, every year, but every time it was just with family, so I could never actually go explore on my own. So it's like I just want to do my own thing, and it's one of those things you can't tell them you're going, or else you have to. I have extensive family there, so you have to go have dinner at this place, and this place, and this place, and yeah, it's just not that my
well,
whole
since
weekend.
I can feel your pain, Hamad. I can't go. We can't just go to the city and visit. It has to be a family thing.
Exactly.
And we're since there's no one here on the call from Phoenix, I can say I'm torn. We're going out there for a week in May, late I think late in May, to visit my nephews out there, and I would like to let everyone know that I'm going, but I know my wife would have pitch a fit and if I started, conducting business while we're out there. But I really want to meet in person, some of the people and also have a chance to, take a look at some apartments that I'd looked at
Uh,
last year and see if, you know, uh, how they executed on their business plan and, so, but I think I'm just going to be stuck with family again.
yeah, it was the same thing in Orlando last week when I was there. It's like maybe I should go meet up with some of the people I know there. But
You gotta sell the tax benefits to her, Jim. So
Yeah.
listen, honey, we can write this whole trip off if I just take a couple things, a couple brochures, dock down some mileage. The whole trip's written off. I mean, it's less expensive for her. See if that
Pat,
works.
what I suggested was my brother-in-law loves to barbecue, just loves to barbecue and loves to have parties. And I said, look, let's just, have a big barbecue and invite over some friends.
people,
And, I know a lot of people in Phoenix. And she goes, oh no, I know what you're getting
You're
to.
killing two birds with one stone. You're being,
Yeah.
optimistic here. Goodness.
All right. What time do we got? 103. We'll wait a couple of minutes here to get started.
Hey Jim, did you have the China meeting this morning?
We did, but it was very, very short. It got cut short, Aaron, because Dion had a phone call from his W-2, so the meeting got cut short.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I joined like at 6:30 my time. I was like, oh man, it must be over with.
Yeah, we were going to go over a lot of the website pieces and trying to get some participation. And we had just started when he got the phone call. So I don't think we were on for more than 10 or 15 minutes. And just barely got enough out there that the gist that I got out of the call was that he had made a post on Slack regarding, you know, adding content to the platform or to the website. And what he really is interested in is any kind of content. So anyone that has some content and wants to get your name out there, you know, you if it's a white paper or a blog, you know, send it to him, and you know we'll make sure that your name gets plastered everywhere as a guest blogger or expert on putting out this particular paper or whatever that looks like. But he is really keen on us doing converting some of that into video. And so I think that if we can just, if we have a paper or something that we can just get on, what is that, the one that you can do is short, it's free, but it's limited 5 minutes. Loom.
Hello?
Yeah. So something, I don't think it needs to be anything long, or you can use OBS, which is a free, free video editing software. And, or use your phone, just make a video from your phone. As a matter of fact, we had talked about that and saying, just rough, raw footage, just shot with your phone, sometimes can be very, very popular. People like it feels more real, to them, as opposed to being polished. But so I would encourage everyone to, if you've got something like that, he created a folder on the platform, which I have been too busy today to go find. But he also made a post.
I clicked on the link that he had, and that was going to the document. Like it wasn't the drive or the folder.
Not a folder?
Here's the specific folder, let me know. Once I get these, I'm done 4 of my article or the ebooks now. I still have 4 more to go.
So Hamad, that document, did you happen to see what folder it was in?
No, I'll have to go back and take a look at. You're right, it's probably in that folder.
Okay.
And what's the topic of the content of the videos that you're looking for?
I don't think it matters. I think anything that's related to real estate, anything related to wealth mindset, anything related to taxes, anything related to, I mean, obviously the website I think is really going to be aimed at, it'll have 2 pieces to it. We envision that it'll have an LP side and a GP side, and also that it'll have a marketplace. So anyone that has a deal from the GOB, we could, put onto that platform or marketplace for people to look at deals, and also have a very specific piece, which we envision building up the LP piece first, trying to drive traffic so that we can create a big base of LPs for everybody to pull from. And particularly, I mean, the way Dion's building it out, he's trying to get content for I don't remember if it's WeChat or the other one. I always get them confused.
TikTok?
No, this is, it's a Chinese website. And there's one that Facebook owns and one that WhatsApp. So I always get WhatsApp and WeChat confused. WeChat, I think, is the Chinese version, is the Chinese app. And it is super, super popular over there for educators and people like Tony Robbins or Rich Dad Poor Dad, Kiyosaki, for them to put out content. And they'll have entire seminars, live seminars via WeChat. And a lot of them have content that you can log into and just constantly watch, short videos and educational stuff. And they are very, very popular over there. There's a real thirst for that kind of knowledge, that kind of entrepreneurship. And he envisions us using that and using all of our content to try to create a channel like that and start to drive traffic. So I think that
we want to make sure that I'm assuming that the content, the videos are going to be evergreen in nature, meaning I do currently two videos a week, every week for my content. And obviously it's driving them to my website. So those would not work for something you're talking about because it's branded to me and my content. So you're talking branding to.
Well, not necessarily, Pat, because we're trying to take all of your brands and drive traffic to your brands. So that's why we're really trying to get everyone to get on that list where your website will be featured on the GOB website. So as these are all of the affiliates that are in the GOB network. So the GOB network doesn't exist without all of everybody that's on it. You are the network. So as we start to have that stuff fill out, they would be able to see, and I don't know yet how the link is going to work. So it needs to be a two-way street so that when they see Pat Gage on the GOB website, there's a link for them to go to Pat Gage's website, but also vice versa. When they're on Pat Gage's website, there's a link that'll put them back to the GOB website. So it's back and forth. And so if you had a piece of content in both places, it would be, what is the word I'm looking, there would be synergy there.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not, it's branded to you, it's cross-branded. So
that was my concern is because that way it's driving it all to me. Well, they're going to say, okay, I got this from GOB. I just got to be the funnel link, that circular back to where they came from. Because obviously that's where they came from is from your group. So, okay.
Well, and ultimately, I would like for us to get to a place where we have this one large investor portal where if on any given deal, you could download all of your investors into a deal, but they're your investors in your piece of the portal. But that doesn't mean that somebody that's in your portal might not also be in Hamad's portal, might not also be in Aaron's portal, because people, my experience is LPs are in, several different
cross-pollinating.
Right. Yeah. Right. And it may get to a point where we don't even care anymore that some people want to protect their investors. But I honestly envision a time where we have enough LPs that we don't need to worry about where they came from. We just keep putting deals in front of them and they keep funding them. And whether they came from you, whether they came from Hamad, whether they came from anywhere, if you have a deal, you just want to get the deal funded. Now, for anyone who's finding deals and is looking for capital, that's a great solution. But if you're instead just a capital raiser, then that might not ever work for you because that's your path into a deal. So we'll obviously have to figure that out. Right now, the best solution in my mind is for the investor portal to be segmented for each capital raiser.
Hey, Jim, I also wanted to add actually to that point. I spoke with someone from Syndication Pro like a week or two ago, and they have a capability where if you have a Syndication Pro account, I think you can bring on other people onto the platform that have separate investor pool. Yep.
Yes, they do. And you do know that, was it Jared that negotiated a big discount for all GOB members?
Yes.
So, okay. Yeah, because Michael and Susie were switching from Groundbreaker to Syndication Pro, and they felt kind of proud of themselves that they got a discount. And then I asked them, how much it was, and I said, well, you could have got almost twice that much. You need to back up and go connect with Jared and make sure you're using the right people. So, and I'll be honest with you, I was hoping that Badri, Badri has been on the platform ever since we had that meetup with him. And he's been bugging me to have a follow-up meetup with the guys to see about putting together, individual funds for individual sponsors. And I've been waiting because I wanted to make sure that he had enough time to really see and get a flavor for what we're trying to do on the platform, and give him the opportunity to say, yeah, I want to be more involved than just offering, a piece for each individual. I'd really like to partner with you guys on a much deeper level, because I'd really like to have our own investor portal, not a discounted one from Syndication Pro, but it's going to come. It'll come. So I am going to set that up, by the way, relatively soon, and we do have some a lot of news, good news coming this next month, over the next 30 days or so, regarding some of the underwriting pieces that we had been interested in implementing, and also on the funding model, where we had talked about creating a GOB fund to help fund deals, and also a workaround for your not being able to advertise your 506Bs. And so I think that we've got that figured out, and be bringing that to the platform here pretty quick too. So, all right. So with that, I think we've had more than enough time for everybody to jump on. Let's see, what did I have? I mean, we are welcome to talk about anything that you guys want to talk about, but I did want to start putting some things in the agenda so that we don't kind of get stuck, and that this, the whole idea here is to help you guys or to help all of us try to learn to be better capital raisers and learn to raise more capital. And so I want to try to stay on topic with those things. And what I had put in for today was how to automate your social media post and your content creation. And so I don't know how active all of you are. It is becoming extremely difficult for me, so I imagine it is for a lot of you guys too, to post as much as I want to post on social media, or to remain as involved answering posts as I can. And I think that from the most efficient use of social media, I think the best engagement is when you can do it yourself. But obviously, there's going to come a point where that's impossible, and so you have to figure out how can I do this? What is kind of the next best step after I just become overloaded and I can't do it anymore? And I think there's a couple of simple things that we can implement, and I'll throw them out there and see what you guys think. Number one, for me, I had to choose a platform. I couldn't continue to be as active on all of them. Well, I shouldn't even say all of them. I had really picked mainly 3 platforms that I had chosen to try to remain active on. But it's really boiled down to LinkedIn, and now I can't even keep up with LinkedIn. So I think that having the ability to schedule a post is super important. So you can go in and write, you might take Sunday and say, okay, I'm going to take 3 hours. I'm going to create one long form post. And that long form post, it might be 1,000 words. It might be 3,000 words. I don't know it, how verbose everyone is, but, you write something long post and then see if you can tear out of that 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 short post, see if you can pull out of that one piece of content multiple posts that you can then schedule, and hopefully at least one every day, or at least one every weekday.
one thing that I was, and that's the thought I had as well. Like I said, I've written 8 books now. What I'm thinking of doing is going back through all of them and just pulling out tidbits to post. And then what I can do is also link to that ebook for people to download to get more information. Because there's lots of like smaller, useful pieces of information there, about 1,500 words. So that should, be good enough to get me by for quite some time, and then I can probably recycle that again once I'm through the one cycle. So
yeah, and I love that you brought that up, Ahmad, because I think that once we have, for lack of a better word, a library of content in our voice, and I really want to emphasize that, in our voice. We don't need to be creators. We need to be recreators. So we can take any content that any one of us writes, all of us would read that content and have our own spin on that piece of content. We would all have something additional we would possibly want to say about that content, or we would just say it in a different way. And that's what I mean by putting it in your voice. You don't have to be a creator. You don't have to go out there and make up something from whole cloth. And there's very, very few original ideas in this space anyway. Most of it is everybody saying the same thing, just putting their own spin on it. And so there's absolutely enough content already on the platform. Go into the library, take a few good books, read a chapter, or read a freaking paragraph, and just take the paragraph and rephrase it, in your words, and that becomes a post. Now, and I think there's a lot of power just in having a post. But ultimately, we are looking for something, which is engagement. And having a call to action, the way Ahmad just said, repurposing some of his material, and then having a link to the actual download of the book. And Ahmad, you said you'd written 5 of them. What is the average?
In total, 8, and they're roughly 1,500 words, plus or minus a few hundred words, I would say, but roughly around. I tried keeping around 1,500.
Yeah. So, guys, you all remember when you were in school, any paper you had to write was at least 1,500 words. So we all can do it. We all have done it. It's just a matter of, if we're going to be capital raisers, we've got to put some time into doing that. And once we have it, it can be evergreen. We can just recycle through it. If we have 15 weeks scheduled, at the end of 15 weeks, we just start the thing over again. And in the beginning, if you only have 5 pieces, you start over, after you finish the 5. But as it grows, then, you can just keep repeating the process for as many pieces as you have.
Yeah, I mean, you can use those 1,500 articles, you have somebody read it for you, and it becomes a video. I mean, I did that many years ago, where you just have that and it becomes a video now. You can turn that into a press release, and just recycling the same stuff.
I'm glad Pat mentioned this. So one of the other things I got from someone else I know, and what they do is, if you go to like Fiverr and stuff, you can actually, and he does this for any deal he gets, he publishes it. So it goes to like ABC, NBS, like NBC and stuff like that. It'll just be basically, a small little thing showing that you're coming out with a new deal. But what it allows you to do is post on your website that you've been published in these newspapers or whatever, magazines.
Yeah, the press release sites.
Yeah, there you go. That's what
do that.
So that's another thing, just to add some credibility to your website when investors go on. It's just,
you can hire people to do press releases.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. That's why he said to go on Fiverr. There are people on Fiverr that do it, and then you do that press release, and then you can add it. Someone might see it. I haven't looked into it yet. That's why I'm not giving any details. But he said it wasn't too expensive. And again, like I said, the thought I had from it was then you can put it to your website in terms of like your affiliations and stuff. It looks more credible. That's all.
I'll also say to that, guys, a lot of syndicators are not participating in any types of press release. whether it's, magazine, or radio, or video. And if you raise capital for somebody's deal and they're not doing that, take advantage of that. Take advantage of that for it to be your voice, and you put it out.
And the other thing, what I'm actually going to do is when I finally like launch my website and stuff, I think I'll do that just to say I'm launching my website, so it's out there, and then I can add that to my website as well. Press release, so it doesn't necessarily have to be a deal, right? So
It can be anything, a release of a video, release of a, piece of content. I mean, I've done press releases for less.
So the other thing that I wanted to talk about in regard to social media is that, number one, I think that of any platform that you could potentially be on, television, radio, in the Wall Street Journal, in the New York Times, in Forbes, in Fortune magazine, I still, at this point in history, I think having a social media presence on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or Twitter is more powerful than any of those other outlets. I think, in my opinion, much more powerful.
I agree.
Those others still carry a certain degree of prestige, and look good on your print. But from an effectiveness standpoint, I don't think they hold a candle to a really good social media following.
Yeah, again, as you know, for me, it was more if someone's coming to my website to look at who I am and what I'm doing, in their subconsciously in their mind, it adds credibility.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not expecting to get people to my website or anything else or gain people through it. It's purely just to add more credibility and meat to my website. That's all.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So in regard to that, there's a lot of power already within our group to get a lot more eyeballs on all of your posts. So if you're not using hashtag GOB network, you're not taking advantage, because we've got 250 people more or less that are participating right now, or that are claiming to be members of GOB. So anyone that is hashtagged, I am trying to go in and post, so that I'm trying to give you, anyone who follows me, I'm trying to give each and every one of you that are posting using that hashtag some eyeballs. And if you are all doing the same thing, just amongst 200 people, that's a lot more eyeballs on your post. And not just eyeballs on your post, a lot more likes on your post, a lot more comments on your post. And that will start to drive up everyone within the GOB network, can push everyone else up, and push a lot of other people that are not, they're individuals, they're not part of a system. It'll push them out. So even someone that's as active as Yona Weiss cannot compete with 200 people doing all the same thing. So there's a lot of power already within your grasp. I would also say, as far as repurposing content, I would not hesitate to just copy Hamad's content and add let's say Hamad did I don't know, 500 words about why you want to be a passive investor. One of my posts might be just to take Hamad's content and post it as myself, give a 15-word, 20-word Cliff Notes opinion piece about Hamad's piece, and then hashtag GOB network and hashtag or at Hamad Khan. So now I've taken my content and Hamad's content and the GOB network and repurpose it. So it's going to, again, bring more eyeballs to me, and I didn't have to create the content, and more eyeballs to Hamad, and more eyeballs to the GOB network. But you're also getting those eyeballs because you made the post. So you're going to get likes. You're going to get a comment from Hamad. then you're going to get a comment from Pat and Krellin and Davide and Chris and Shaka and everyone else. So when you have the opportunity, you can recreate that stuff yourself, but there's also power in giving the credit to someone else, because then all of their viewers and all of their followers will also get to know you now.
So essentially you're talking about doing like an REI, was it a LinkedIn challenge?
Nope. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I am. I'm talking about to do a LinkedIn challenge forever. Not for 10 days,
right.
but forever.
Okay.
For the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life, as long as
Yeah.
you're in real estate. And when you pass on, I want it in your will that you're going to take all of those followers and will them back to the GOB.
Mhm.
I didn't know we were in this far, Jim. I got to get my will and stuff redone here. Holy Christmas.
Yeah, we're going to have to get a best practices for the wills and the trusts that are going to be
Wills and trust in the neighborhood.
But no, I think you guys can see from that I'm finding it difficult every day to keep up. But if you set aside 15 minutes a day for a post, not necessarily, it's going to take longer than that if you want to start to follow up on everything. And you may have to start hiring a VA to do some of that, or although that's against LinkedIn's policies, but I know that everyone's doing it anyway. But and then also I think I'm not at this point, although I know I should be, I'm not using any type of aggregator, where I make one post and it pushes it out to several different platforms, and they are, as a matter of fact, hold on just a second here. I was just looking at an article right before we got on, trying to find.
I use Hootsuite. You can use two platforms for free.
Yeah, that's what I just did a Google search for that, Pat, right before we got on, and there was an article, and I was just going to take and copy that just so everyone knows. And
that's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's all I put in was social media aggregators that are free, and anything. There's probably just on the first page you get.
Yeah, there's probably
a post about it.
20 of them.
But there's one that was a decent article, and I think it had like 5 free aggregators, that you could start using for free immediately, and only make one post and get at least 3 or 4 posts out of that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something that probably all of us should be doing. If we're so busy that we can't go to the different ones, and is that as good? Maybe not, but it's still better than not posting.
What also forces you, what I do every weekend, I do that. I make up my 25 posts for the week. It forces you to sit and really think about the posts, right? What's coming up in the week, so you're not just slapping stuff down. It's a purposeful. So the posts that I create, the 25 that I create, there's a reason behind that. So it's more thoughtfully thought out, on that weekend when I have no clutter, that I can actually think and say, like, is this really the best way to say this? Instead of just, oh my God, I got 2 seconds. I go on Facebook real quick, and and that's, I found that I tried to do that, but it's like the posts are not as good. They're not thought out, so you can think about ahead of time. I think they're a lot better.
Yeah, and I struggle with that. I'm horrible when it comes to creativity. Absolutely horrible at it. At least when that type of creativity. Creativity in a deal and how to put deals together and how to pivot. I love doing that. But ask me to write an article and I'm likely to freeze up, and sit there and have to flog myself, to start typing. And but once I get started, I usually enjoy doing it. But like I said, there's so much content already for us to repurpose. It's on the platform, whether it's in the library, whether it's in the Capital Raiser folder, or marketing folder. There's so much stuff there. And I follow a ton of websites. So if you guys are not, if you're not already following or at least bookmarking everyone's website, you should, because that's also great places. Read their blogs, read, you know, their posts. It's a great place to be inspired and get additional, you know. And I follow, you know, several different national things that, you know, when I read an interesting article, usually I just write something about that. You know, it interests me, and so I'll just write it, you know, a short opinion about it. It doesn't, it really isn't, it's more of forcing yourself to take the time, you know, and finding a creative way to use it, a way that doesn't feel like drudgery for you. You know, if you're one of those people who just sat down and just start writing 1,500 words 8 times and make 8 books and just boom, 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 you know, that's great. But if you're like me, that you need something to spark you, you know, maybe it's reading the real estate section of the Wall Street Journal for 10 minutes, 15 minutes every morning, or Globe Street, or, you know, some other real estate blog, or Green Street Advisors.
I'll just add, it's taken me 4 months to write those.
Well, it seemed like 4 hours. You just seemed like you just poured it right out.
Well, turning them, converting them into ebooks, that's I'm going at about 2 a day rate right now. I haven't done any today, so I might not, I don't know if I'll be able to get any tonight, but converting them into ebooks hasn't been as bad. And I'll go through, maybe I'll do a session, because what I did was I found someone on Fiverr that doing an ebook for me for $10. Now for $10, it's not the greatest, but what I can utilize is some of his pictures and utilize the templates that I already have, the blank templates, and kind of put it together. So I'm able to do it a little bit quicker and get some utilize few of his pictures that he's doing. And for $10 an ebook, it's nothing, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right. Yeah. And again, his ebook quality isn't the best, but there's enough there that I can quickly put together my own with the templates that I already put in the GOB network thing.
I feel the biggest time-consuming aspect of it is not the platform, but the structure and how you want to, and then you just fill in your information, because structuring is time-consuming.
Yeah, again, you know, with the way I'm doing it, I literally go to each section. So I have 4 screens in front of me. I have my actual article on the one screen. I have the other guy's PowerPoint that he did. I have my blank template PowerPoint, and I have the one I'm working on in the middle. So what I'll do is on mine, I'll look at the article, look at what the next section is. I'll see what this guy did. And then I'll look at my template and see which one I think looks the best. I'll throw it into my blank document, see if the picture he has makes sense, or I import my own picture that I have, and kind of do it that way. So it's not, it doesn't take as long as if I was just completely fresh trying to put something together. So utilizing like those blank templates helps a lot.
So any opinions on getting better engagement on social media? Any ideas, anything that you see that you think is really brilliant, anything that you see that you think is that you don't like, or that you think is a bad practice? Or
I mean, have any of you guys looked into like sponsored ads and stuff too? Like when you're scrolling down your Facebook feed, you see these paid sponsored ads. I haven't really looked into it, but I've noticed that, you know, a lot of capital raising platforms are actually on there, like Fundrise and stuff.
I did. They have a pretty good program. It's like a series of like 3 appointments that you get totally free, and they help you kind of go through the entire process of the setup, and then help you decide how much it is you want to spend per week. And through demographics, location, they just advise you through the entire process. So it's something interesting to try, but it's not the answer to all kinds of advertising. That you could pick like the type of professionals that you want to target, the location. It's pretty interesting, but I mean, I'd recommend you give it a shot. I did it for my fix and flip business here in the DMV area, and it works well, but it's not like the go-to for me.
Was that just for Facebook, Jeff, or was that more like a Facebook created thing, or was that more of an advertising agency type
No,
thing?
it was through Facebook. They actually
Okay.
call you. They hire, like probably 1099s for Facebook, and they kind of advise you, set up a follow-on meeting after your advertisement passes by, and then you go back, look at the data, the analytics, and they help you decide, okay, what do you want to change? And they even show you like what your advertisement is going to look like. So it's pretty interesting.
So that's something that if we wanted to promote, if we could start to promote the GOB brand, but only if we feel like that's going to drive more traffic for what you guys need, which ultimately is LPs. So that then goes back to the fact that the more involved you are in having your name out there, and putting your brand also on the GOB website, so that if they come looking there, they don't just see GOB Network, but they also see you and your content. And then that drives back to deals that you're trying to put together. But I would say that it really, that's still something that I'm trying to work through mentally. But I could definitely see value if we wanted to just try to drive as much LP traffic as possible, and then use all of that LP traffic collectively to put deals together. I'm just concerned about making sure that it doesn't exclude capital raisers from being able to get on deals, as that, because there's people that's really their talent, and they're not talented at the other pieces. They may not be talented at finding deals and don't want to do that. So I don't want to take away from their ability to be, GP, get on the GP team. But I still, at the same time, think that there could be just tremendous power. The more we put that logo out there and continue to drive more people to it, to help all of us. But so I wanted to go to the next item I had there. Okay, we talked about where to find good content. Has anybody got any question about where to find good content?
I mean, sometimes I find myself lost in terms of like, where to even start in terms of content to start producing out there. And
Is that because there's too much there, or
yeah,
because, okay, all right. So here's what I would suggest, Chris. I would either follow someone who's already doing it, okay? Maybe just pick someone that's being pretty active, or a couple of them, and just watch what they're doing, and just copy it. Whether it's somebody on the platform or somebody else that you admire, that you see them putting out a lot of content, and just repurpose that content in your voice. If they do it this week, just wait 2 weeks and then do the same exact article, because after 2 weeks, their article's no longer being pushed up very high anyway, and people have forgotten about it. So you can repurpose it. Literally, you don't need to worry about, don't ever worry about you're beating a dead horse, because trust me, the horse has been dead for centuries and everybody's still beating it. We're all talking about the same subject matter. I bet you I could find any subject matter you want to ask about. I bet you I could find 10 different posts about that subject matter within a matter of minutes on different, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. So don't worry about that. The other would be just take a book that you're reading, and every time you sit down and read a chapter or a page, try to pick something off of that page that interests you, that would make a really short, good post. And just go through that book, and you can attribute the author if the author will friend you. So, go on and see if they'll friend you. If they'll friend you, then you can call, continue to call them out and maybe get more of their traffic on your post because you're continually posting about their book. So that can be a way for you to build a lot of traffic and get a lot of traction. And you're not creating content. I mean, you're not having to come up with new ideas. You're creating content, but you're using their content. So if there's a book that you really like, just take it and try that experiment. Every day, if you're following Miracle Morning, as part of your scribing for Miracle Morning should be post. In my mind, that is, for me, that is what scribing is for the Miracle Morning, is creating post for content. And it counts. I get double duty. I get to, I kill two birds with one stone.
I'm going to piggyback on something that Pat said, to plan out. You said you do like 25 posts laid out for the week. I just post whatever seems appealing to me at the time, and I don't post enough. I sometimes go weeks without posting. I need to up my game for sure. So, and also Jeff, what you said about doing a challenge, I think that's a good idea. Like we just make it a challenge to post every day. And if we all act as one for 10 days and we overwhelm LinkedIn with the hashtag GOB network and Twitter and Facebook and whatever else might be, those 10 days.
There's Davide, there's 11 of us here. Do you guys, with a show of virtual hands, because not everybody's on camera. So if you want to type 1 for yes, you're willing to commit, type in the chat 1 for yes, and I'll do that. I hate making those kind of commitments, but I'll absolutely do it.
The challenge, right?
But
I've already started doing it today. I'm done.
You're on right now.
Sorry, I'm overachiever. I'm sorry.
Well, I know there is some of you guys that are good and you keep up with it. Like Jim said, it should be every day. I agree, it should be every day. But some of us that can't keep up, the challenge works because it keeps you, having to do it every day.
Well, let's ask real quick, Davide, who is using a scheduler that works across platforms? I know you can schedule Facebook. There's an actual piece that you can schedule the time. As far as I know, LinkedIn doesn't have that. So, but I'm sure there's a tool out there.
One thing that I've done.
Hootsuite is the best tool you can do. That's right now. You can do 2 social networks for free. I'm cheap, so I do the free, and that's what I do my 25 posts on. And that is it. I'm in exactly the same with you, David. I'm like, if I have to think about it every day, it doesn't get done. I mean, and I know it won't. I mean, it's just, I have to physically, I put it in my calendar. And I've gotten to that point where I'm gonna, on the weekend, it comes up on my calendar because that's where it's been. So, I'll just do it. I never do it. And then all of a sudden it's Friday. I'm like, oh crap, I missed a whole week. So that's why I did Hootsuite, and I just set it up and I just go in there and write them. And that way I'm done for the week.
So one thing that, the idea that what I'm going to try doing is one thing I already mentioned is my own content. The other thing is whenever you're reading a book or anything that you like, just make a note of it, keep like an Excel or WordPad and just jot those things down. That way you have, in your own words, jot it down. That way you have a whole, source of content that you can post, utilize that way, because when you're reading it, you're thinking about it yourself as well. Write it down, and that way when you're thinking, you want to post something, just go into it, find something, and then just cut and paste it.
So when you talking about posts, are we talking about also like making a video or something like that as well?
Anything.
That'll be included as well?
Anything. But are we going to do this across one platform? Are we going to
personally, I think you can utilize it across all platforms the same. You can make the same post on LinkedIn and Facebook and even Instagram, right? Maybe Twitter is the only one you can't, but I think you really can do it cross platform.
Yeah, you absolutely can, Hamad. I'm just saying, do we want to pick a platform that everyone has to make a post on that platform?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Do a LinkedIn
what I
challenge.
would,
LinkedIn.
yeah, so what I would like is I think LinkedIn would be great for that. And the reason I say that is uh, Facebook versus LinkedIn. What I really like about LinkedIn is a post can be like 3 weeks old and it can still trend at the top of your notification if people are still commenting or posting on it, right? Whereas versus Facebook, it'll be gone
Okay.
within like minutes, right?
So
And the other thing I would add is if we do the GOB hashtag, rather than it just being like a challenge, let's do it as common practice for everyone in the group. Anytime they see the hashtag the GOB, you like it or just comment on it automatically, just so that way everyone posts, because it's not gonna, because that will make that person's post be relevant to all of their followers, because then LinkedIn thinks that it's something relevant and important.
yeah. And I would say that anyone that makes a comment, that you need to, and it literally doesn't matter what the comment is, guys. You could just comment with a Y on every single thing. It still counts as a comment, whether it's one syllable or whether it's 1,500 words. It still will drive it'll drive eyeballs to that post. So you don't need to be creative. You don't need to be verbose. Although you're welcome to, but engagement just is a like or an emoticon of some kind and some type of comment, and make sure that you're following up on your comment. So if each one of us comments on, and there's 11 comments on your post, there should be 22, because you need to say something in response, even if it's just a, yep, 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 yep. Just agree with everybody. Or disagree. Or just go,
Yeah, I'm a comment king. I'm always comment on people's posts. I don't do a lot of posts. I just comment on a lot of people's posts. Like
So comment on mine, Aaron, the one that I have a Friday meeting.
oh yeah,
that I
yeah, okay,
shared.
okay. It's like
And
the conferences weekend.
And I've actually connected with people, Aaron, just to your point, I've actually connected with people commenting on their posts or commenting on something someone posted on someone else's post. It's still, even if you're just commenting, not doing your own post, it's still a great way to connect with people.
Yeah, I comment on a lot of people's posts every day. Because I'm gonna start making videos and posts, like start making videos. But I comment on a lot of people's posts. I get a lot of, like, I had the red button go a lot in the morning times when I wake up.
the red button?
Yes, sir.
What's the red button?
Notifications.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I didn't see anyone type in a 1 into the chat. So I don't know that we have anyone on board at this point.
Well, I will say on my behalf, I don't know if anyone else is at the stage or not, but like I don't even have, right now I'm working with a graphic designer to design the logo, and so that way I can officially, make the company name and all of that stuff too. So for myself, I may have to just retroactively participate once that's done, so I can post it on behalf of the company as opposed to just like my personal name, if that makes sense.
Do you think that your personal name is not going to be part of your brand?
It would.
So you
But-
don't need to
okay.
wait.
Okay.
On LinkedIn, it'll
Because-
still be you, right? It won't be your brand that's posting on LinkedIn.
It would, yeah, it would be me, with the intentions of obviously hoping directing that traffic towards the capital raising platform itself that I'd be using.
But
So I Chris, I went through the same thing, and I'm still haven't done it for various reasons. But I think if you're already in meetups and all this, I would just go with posting it under your own site and stuff. Just leave that way website that people know you and know you're serious about it already.
so we didn't get half of that, Hamad, but I think we got the gist of it, that
Sorry.
people still are not going to invest in your company as much as they're going to invest in you. You know, they have to know, like, and trust you. And so even though you have a brand or a company that you're trying to build, they want to know who's behind that company, and they want to feel like they know you. If they don't have a personal relationship with you, then they will build their own personal relationship in their mind based upon the interaction they have with you online. And so I don't think that there's no reason to wait. Just start doing it.
Okay.
You know, and look, guys, here's the hack. We know Hootsuite will let you schedule. How long would it take you to make and a piece of content doesn't have to have a picture. I think all of them should, but it doesn't have to. So you could take about 15 minutes right now and probably pound out enough words and then chop it into 5 different sentences and schedule it on Hootsuite for 5 days straight. And it would be done within the hour. And you
So
would.
one other thing, sorry, I'm driving, so I don't know how well you guys can hear me.
You're good
But
now.
one other thing that I saw was on Fiverr, you can get like motivational quotes with your logo and everything already done. And they'll do like a ton of these for you and send them to you. So you can, if you don't have anything else to post, you can utilize that as well, like on Instagram and places like those, just as a motivational quote of the day or whatever, and I already have your logo and everything on it.
So I did not get the gist of that. Did anybody else get the gist of that? Want to rephrase it?
Yeah, Hamad said that you can go on Fiverr and you can get motivational quotes that have your branding on them.
Okay, great. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Another
So-
idea I had around Fiverr and trying to automate the process was seeing if we could get someone decent at rewriting, say, CoStar articles. We could just take that, not plagiarize, but put it in our own words, and then not having to sit down and do that exercise ourselves, but automate it through a VA.
Yeah, but I think that honestly, guys, the sooner we start using each other as a resource and start using the network as a resource, I think that we are going to see massive growth and explosion in not only the GOB network platform, but more importantly, I think you'll start to see your engagement. So I don't know how many connections you guys have, and honestly, I think having 100 faithful followers that engage with your content is more than enough. I'd rather have 100 people that always seem to comment on my stuff than to have 5,000 who they never comment. So I think that, but I think that if we start using that mechanism, hashtag GOB network, and using each other's at Pat Gage, at Krellin Pauling, at Chris Pauling, at Chris Tariq. Chris, how do you say your last name?
Toribio?
Toribio.
Yeah,
Okay.
Toribio.
Thank you. It's a challenge for a hillbilly to say a 3-syllable word.
No worries.
We're raised on 1 and 2 syllables only. So I'm ready to commit to that. And it looks like several of you are. Chris is trying to give me an excuse that it needs to be mid-April, but I think he can find an hour somewhere to maybe Krellin can show him how to use Hootsuite, and he can create enough content in an hour and be done. And I guess we already started. I guess Pat said he already posted something. So 10 days, at the very least 7 days, right? We come back here again next week. We can have an accountability, see who succeeded and who fell flat on their face.
Hey, Jim, I just want to say this, that Daryl, I think is on something, and we talked about this a lot of times, that if we come together as one, we can achieve so much stuff. And but I know a lot of times, like you said, we have our own investors, we have our own people, but just the power of us, and I think you're trying to say this the whole time, the power of us coming together to help each other out, like you said, just post each other and comment, and you'll just see the growth in us so quickly if we do that and don't be competitive against each other, but work together. In a couple of months, man, everybody's gonna have a good deal. And nobody's gonna stop us. We're going to be an avalanche, but we got to get out that competitive mindset of hold it to our chest and embrace each other and help each other out, because we all one in GOB network. We might as well work together in the GOB network to get deals. We all want deals. So why don't we work together as who we are and what our skills are to help each other out to get deals? Because if I get a deal, somebody's gonna get another deal, and you see that more and more. If everybody's starting to get a lot of deals in our network because they're working together, and we got to get out of that competitive mindset.
Yeah, and that's always going to be the challenge, Aaron, is people are very protective. It's built into our DNA. We protect ourselves first, our cave first, our home first, our family first, our business first, and the things that we feel we worked hard to create. But I believe that the only reason we are where we are, meaning humankind, is that we've learned to overcome our baser tendencies. And every time we overcome a new one, we have an explosion in our evolution. And I think that that's what we're trying to do right here, is create that kind of paradigm shift for each other in the real estate industry. And so I couldn't agree more. That's a foundational piece that we all need to test our belief in the abundance mentality. But even in the meantime, while we're working on that, trying to work on a better version of ourselves, we can still in a selfish way. And trust me, I don't look down, or I don't have any negative feelings about people who selfishly are trying to do something for themselves and their family. I just think the best way to accomplish that is not by yourself. So I want to do an experiment real quick. So everybody knows how to minimize their Zoom to where it's just a tiny little square. Yes, on your screen.
Yes.
So I'd like for everybody to minimize their square, their Zoom to a tiny little square, and open up LinkedIn. And once you have LinkedIn open, I want you to go to the home button at the top of the screen. There's a little picture of a house. And right below it, it says what? Create or post?
Start post.
Yeah, start a post.
Start a post. I want everybody to click on start a post. And Chris, is it okay if we go over a few minutes? Is Julian and April going to be okay? Just a few minutes.
I'm sure it'll be fine. I'll text them.
All right. So in that post, here's what I want you to put. I want you to put the @ sign and your name. Well, not your name. I'll just go around the room here. @ Pat Gage, space, @ Krellin Pauling. And if anyone is curious, it's CRELLIN PAULING. @ Shaka Elms, ELMS. @ Chris with a K Toribio, TORIBIO. Chris, I'll let you call out yours because I don't know how you have it on LinkedIn. @ Chris Pauling or?
Yeah, @ Chris Pauling.
Okay, @ Chris Pauling, CHRIS PAULING. @ Davide Davide. If you're having a bad day, just think of Davide. That's how I learned to say it, right, Davide?
Yeah, that line worked once before.
It worked once. Formica, Formi. Is it Formica or Formica?
Formica.
Formica. Formica at Vinki, Vinki, Loomba, Loomba, at Patrick Shar, Sharr, at Hamad, Hammad, Khan, Khan, and at Jeff Rodriguez, Rodriguez, at Jim Biggs, and then hit your I don't know if it's your return key or spacebar. Return key a couple of times. Hashtag GOB Network. And then if you guys have your own hashtag or any other hashtags you always like to add those in there. And then go back up to the top of this. And I want you to type in, I challenge you to the 10-day GOB challenge, GOB post, whatever you want to say, something. But what this post should do is not only kick us off, but if you're not connected to one of those people, then it should show up and allow, then you'll be able to get connected. So all of us need to be connected. All right, gentlemen, we're officially off to the races, and I know we could talk for hours, but I'm gonna call it quits because Chris and I have another call that we have to jump on. And I look forward to seeing everyone, I look forward to talking to you throughout the week, every day.
I wanted to mention one thing quickly over here. I'm late 5 minutes for another call. There's another call right now. It says amplifying your business through power of Instagram. Somebody likes to join, let me know. I can share the link with you guys.
That's the Adam Carswell, right?
I think so. I'm not sure. I'm late. I'm joining. I'm gonna put the link in the chat for everybody whoever wants to join and learn how to use Instagram. There you go. All right. See you guys later.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Talk to you soon.
Everybody.
Good seeing you all. Take care.
Yes.